Hello, friends. Welcome to Science Talk. I am your host, Jim Nassa. So, what we're going to talk about here in this video segment. Scientists warn of zombie fires in the Arctic. Now, yeah, they're kind of throwing a silly term there, but it underlies a very serious issue. So let's discuss. First of all, this is a photograph of from NOAA showing smoke from a wildfire in western Greenland. You can see here the plume, several plumes here. This seems to be the major one right there. Dormant zombie fires scattered across the Arctic regions, remnants of record blazes last year, may be coming to life after an unusually warm and dry spring. This is as recently as the 27th of May. We have seen satellite observations of active fires that hint that zombie fires might have reignited, said Mark Parrington, senior scientist wildlife expert at the European Union's Copernicus Atmospheric Monitoring Service. What they're basically referring to when they talk about zombie fires is that typically in the summertime, wildfires is a natural occurring thing that takes place in the Arctic. Many seeds require high heat to open up and germinate. That's to be expected. Of course, with climate change, the occurrence and the severity of the fires are increasing and becoming more problematic. Usually what happens, okay, you have the fire season, comes August, and I'm talking about from experience in, say, Alaska. You have heavy rains. August is usually the rainy month. Typically, historically, it was. Things are changing. That's not so true anymore. But you have heavy rains in August. It douses the fires. Then you get the winter snows. And, it pretty much snuffs it all out. What we're finding now is that because the August rains are not as intense as they used to be, that yes, you got some rains and it may put some of it out. You got the snows and the snows puts a lid on it. But underneath it all, a lot of these fires are still smoldering. They're not completely out during the winter. And then becomes springtime. And because the air temperature is warmer air temperature can hold more moisture. And it does what? It will pull the moisture out of the ground. Well, now you got these smoldering fires. You don't have any more dampness around it. The ground is now dry. Bang! These things go up. That's what they're referring to when they say they reignite. So the zombie fires is basically referring to the fires that smolder over the winter, and then when dry conditions appear in the springtime, summertime, up they go. That's the background of this. Hotspots are usually typically concentrated in areas that burned the previous summer. The year 2019 was marked by fires unprecedented in scale and duration across large areas of Siberia and Alaska. And the year before, 2018, Scandinavia had a shitload of fires, and even well within the Arctic Circle. And I can tell you personally, last year was a little concerned. There was a major fire burning less than 20 miles from my house. And I was expecting an evacuation order any moment, so I had things packed, ready to go, including grabbing the dog and throwing her in the truck if I had to. June, the hottest on record for the past 150 years, the blazes are estimated to have released 50 million tons of CO2 in the atmosphere, equivalent to Sweden's entire annual emissions. So here's a tweet from John Gibbons. Zombie fires in the Arctic Circle. Siberian temperatures 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is above normal. 40 degrees Fahrenheit is like 100 degrees, 40 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Not 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but 40 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. And of course, he throws a little editorial comment in there. Humanity fiddles, reference to Nero, whatever. But the point is, Siberian temperatures are 40 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Here's Siberia. There's that big red spot there, which you can see right there. Let me see if I can enlarge that. And we pull this up so we can have a better look at it. Here we go. So now, we look at the relative to 51 to 80 average. Temperature anomaly. Okay, this is from January to April of this year. So where we see, blue to really dark blue, that's cooler than average. I don't know why you're doing that. Go away. It's cooler than average. White is no deviation from average. And you start getting into yellow, orange, and red, and very, very dark red. That's warmer than average. So if you see here, for example, this 5, which is a red here, something like over, say, Western Central Europe, that means it's 5 degrees centigrade above what you would typically see for the average for this time period, from January through April. Siberia is at 10 degrees C, and it's actually even probably warmer. Now, 10 degrees C, that's about a minimum of 18 degrees Fahrenheit. And for them to be saying 40 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, that means it is extremely warm. In other words, it's off the scale here. Now we notice how Alaska was cooler into the Yukon Territory, part of the Arctic Oscillation. You see the coolness here? That's meltwater coming off Greenland. Meltwater is cool. And even though this is air temperature, when you have cool water, the air above the cool water will also be cooler. And then you have very cool spots here, basically north of Norway, Finland, that kind of stuff. Here's, it's like that's Franz Josef Land right up there. So it's part of the Barents Sea. That looks like Zemlya Novaya. But you can see, most of the planet was either at normal for the January to April time period or warmer. Some spots were cooler, but most of the planet was at normal or warmer. But then when you get to the Eurasian side of things, oh boy, was it cooking. And that's going to have bad implications. What's going to happen for potential fire season this year. We may see a cumulative effect of last year's fire season in the Arctic, which will feed into the upcoming season and could lead to large-scale, long-term fires across the same region once again, Harrington said. The risk of wildfire increases with hot weather and low humidity. Europe in particular has seen record temperatures for March and April this year. There's been tremendous warmth in the Arctic that will have led to a lot of drying, making the peat soils ripe to burn. What I just said earlier, warm air holds more moisture. It's going to suck that moisture out of the ground, drying out the ground. And Mike Waddington, an expert on the watershed ecosystem at McMaster University in Canada, made that statement. A zombie fire is a fire that continues to burn underground and reignites on the surface after a period of time. Embers deep in organic soil, such as peatlands, can spark into flames weeks, months, and even years later. Scientists monitoring Alaska have seen a similar phenomenon. Oh, yeah. Fire managers noted increasing occurrences where fires survive the cold and wet boreal winter months by smoldering, then reemerge in the subsequent spring, the Alaska Fire Science Consortium reported in their spring 2020 newsletter. Since 2005, scientists on the ground in Alaska have identified 39 such holdover fires, as they are also called. I prefer that term because that's a more accurate description without getting into silly terms. Matching these observations with satellite data, they found that most of the fires were too small, less than 11 hectares, and in most cases less than one, to be detected, but 7 of them were visible from space. Last year's massive blazes were fueled by record heat. Parts of Siberia and Alaska were up to 10 degrees Celsius warmer than normal for weeks at a time. Temperatures in Greenland accelerated melting of the island's kilometer-thick ice sheet, resulting in a net loss of 600 billion tons of ice mass for the year, accounting for about 40% of total sea level rise in 2019. I did a recent video segment where I was discussing what's going on with Greenland's ice sheets. So basically, what's the take-home message from all of this? Things have been warmer. Things you have higher temperatures. You have decreased humidity. That creates ripe conditions for extensive fire season. A lot of the fires did not completely burn out from last year. They were still smoldering. Now they will reignite, and along with new fires, and they could add to any new fires resulting. So the potential is for a very bad fire season. That's what this is basically. That's what's telling us. So stay tuned. We will find out what happens in the coming months. Thank you for your time. Hello, folks. This is Jim here with Science Talk, asking you to please subscribe to my channel and to inform others of my channel and of the work that I do. Please share to social media platforms that you use. Also, as a reminder, don't forget to click the bell so that you know when I load up more videos. Finally, I ask that you support the work that I do by becoming a patron at patreon.com. Details in the description box below. Thank you for your support.